Welcome to CIDEB News. Today we're going to talk about the contribution of chemistry in different topics. We got some special guests tonight. Our first guest is Dr. Alejandro Flores.
Chemistry is a huge part of medicine, both as a diagnostic and treatment tool. Chemistry departments in hospital medical labs analyze blood, urine, etc. for proteins, sugars, and other metabolic and organic substances. Electrolyte tests are routine blood analysis, testing things like potassium and sodium. Most medications are involved with inhibiting a specific enzyme or the expression of a gene. Blocking an enzyme's active site requires a specifically designed blocker to disable the enzyme's function.
Our next guest is Angelica Rodriguez, and she's a nutritionist.
Hi, I will talk about the contribution of chemistry in food. Chemistry has had a large influence on food production, so much that there is now an entire section of chemistry solely related to food. Food chemistry is a study of chemical processes and interactions of all the components of food, whether natural or created. Furthermore, food chemists work on creating new types of foods by manipulating molecules to create new kinds. They also use chemistry to create new techniques for food processing and preservation.
Our next guest is an ecologist, and her name is Aranza Garza.
Hello. Well, I want to talk about the three best possible solutions to solve the problem. The melting of polar ice caps adds to the weather of Mexico. The first possible solution is use less the car. For example, instead of using the car, go walking. The second possible solution is to promote the recycling campaigns, and all the people can see the benefits that makes recycle. And the third possible solution is to use less electricity. For example, turn off the lights when you are not using it. And do not leave connected electronic devices.
I'm going to talk about the global warming. Global warming is the increase of Earth's average surface temperature due to the effect of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide emissions from burning fossil fuels or from deforestation, which trap heat that would otherwise escape from Earth. This is a type of greenhouse effect. The most significant greenhouse gas is actually water vapor, not something produced directly by humankind in significant amounts. However, slight increases in atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide can cause a substantial increase in temperature. Why is this? There are two reasons. First, although the concentration of these gases are not nearly as large as the oxygen and nitrogen, neither oxygen or nitrogen are greenhouse effects. Secondly, CO2 tends to remain in the atmosphere for a very long time scales in 100 years. Water vapor, on the other hand, can easily condense or evaporate, depending on the local conditions. Water vapor levels therefore tend to adjust quickly to the prevailing conditions, such that the energy flows from the sun and radiation from the earth achieve a balance. CO2 tends to remain fairly constant and therefore behave as controlling factor, rather than a reacting factor. More CO2 means that the balance occurs at higher temperatures and water vapor levels.
Chemical warfare involves using the toxic properties of chemical substances as weapons. The type of warfare is distinct to the nuclear and biological warfare because these two are considered like weapons of mass destruction. And the chemical warfare, no. This warfare doesn't depend upon explosive force to achieve an objective. The chemical warfare exists since ancient to modern times. One good example of this is in the Stone Age, with societies in South Africa. They used poison arrows, bombing the stone tips of their arrows with poison obtained from the natural environments, etc. The history of chemical warfare has a long history. World War I, World War II, Cold War, Iran-Iraq War. The countries that have permission to the chemical weapons of destruction are India, Iraq, Japan, Russia, and of course the United States.